Owen Jericho.
He refused his appearance, Your Honor.
All right, we're gonna waive, or we're gonna come back tomorrow? All right, let's go ahead and waive his appearance. I find probable cause on the charging affidavit for the crime of possession of meth with a weapon. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $5,000. Possession of drug paraphernalia is $500, and possession of a weapon by a convicted felon is $5,000. Total will be $10,500. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant. No drugs without prescription. As to the possession of fentanyl and possession of drug paraphernalia, the defendant was out on bond. Was just released on September 22nd. I don't know what the bonds were. Oh, he's ROR'd.
Yes, Your Honor.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to revoke his ROR on possession of fentanyl. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. Possession of drug paraphernalia, $500. I'm going to imagine that those aren't filed on yet because you're waiting on results from FDLE. All right, so we have Jessica Joran. Ms. Joran is here on possession of cocaine and a violation of probation out of St. Johns County. The possession of cocaine, I find probable cause based on the charging affidavit. I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500. Does Ms. Joran want me to appoint the public defender to represent her on the new cocaine charge?
Yes.
All right, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent her on the new charge. She also has a warrant out of St. John's for violation of probation. It's an on view. All right, I'm gonna set bond on the violation of probation at none. And wait for St. John's to come get her. They should come get her within 72 hours. Or should be brought back before the court. All right, good luck. All right, next I have Tommy Lamarca.
He refused his appearance, Your Honor.
All right, are we gonna waive?
Yes, Judge.
Let's go ahead and waive his appearance. I'm gonna find probable cause based on the charging affidavit. I'm going to stay the bonds at $2,500 for count 1 and count 2 and count 3. So that's a total of $7,500. Appoint the Office of Public Defender. Require the defendant not return to the target at 4750 Millennia Plaza Way. No alcohol, no drugs without prescription, no weapons, no firearms. Is this Gilberto Martinez?
Judge, we're going to wait for you in this case.
Mr. Martinez is here pursuant to a warrant signed by Judge Johnson. This appears to be a first-degree felony. Count 1, a second-degree felony, count 2. You're killing me, Smalls. All right, State, do you want to be heard on conditions of release?
Your Honor, oddly enough, the defendant is entitled to a bond because it's an attempt, but it's with a firearm. It works out to still be a second-degree felony. Obviously, I would want no contact with the victim and also no weapons or firearms.
I didn't, I read the charging affidavit, or the affidavit, I missed where the victim is. It looks like oh, there was another vehicle. Somehow I missed that. All right, so the state's position is that he is entitled to a bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna find probable cause based upon the warrant. On attempted manslaughter, I'm gonna set bond in the amount of 25,000. On the shooting or throwing a missile into a dwelling or a structure, a secondary felony, I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $10,000. The total is gonna be $35,000. The defendant is to have no contact directly with the victim in this case. I'm gonna assume that the firearm was taken into evidence. The defendant's also to surrender upon release all firearms in his possession to the sheriff's office, pending the outcome of this case. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, as I just mentioned. State, anything else?
Your Honor, there was also an independent witness, if there could be no contact with victims or witnesses.
All right, no contact with victims or witnesses. And I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender, thank you, to represent Mr. Martinez. Good luck, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may. All right, Donnie Matthews. All right, Mr. Matthews is here on possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. Stay the bonds at 2,500 and 500. Special conditions, no alcohol, no drugs without prescription. Good luck. Hung Nguyen. All right, Mr. Nguyen is here on charges of possession of meth and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to stay the bonds at 2,500 and 500. Appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent. Only condition is no possession of alcohol or drugs without prescription.
And he does have an immigration hold, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Nguyen, I need to advise you that there's currently an immigration hold that needs to be resolved before you're released. Good luck. All right, Thiago Oliveira Macadolima. All right, Mr. Oliveira Macadolima is charged with fleeing and attempting to elude a police officer with lights and siren active. I'm going to find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500.
Judge, can we be heard to the bond amount?
Sure.
Mr. Olivier's family, I understand, is watching the IA today. His family provided us with letters from a family as well as a licensed therapist that Mr. Olivier is seeing. My understanding is that Mr. Olivier does not have much in the way of a criminal history. I understand that he is not currently eligible for pretrial release, but the letters from his family and the appearance of his family at today's IA would indicate that he does have stable housing. So we would ask for a reduction on that amount.
All right, State.
Your Honor, having reviewed the affidavit, there are allegations of lane splitting between the outside and center lanes. Evasive maneuvers were made onto the right shoulder and accelerated to approximately 80 miles an hour in I believe it was a 45 zone. Based on that pattern of driving, steer through the grass median to re-enter the interstate. Based on all of that, Your Honor, State would ask that you keep it at the $2,500.
All right, I also note that this was on I-4 at 7:30 in the morning, yesterday morning. I'm not sure where this was, but I was on I-4 yesterday morning, and I can attest to the fact that traffic is very heavy at 7:38 in the morning. I feel as though $2,500 to begin with is kind of a low bond for this charge, notwithstanding the proffer made by the Office of the Public Defender on Mr. Oliveira's behalf. I think $2,500 is a reasonable monetary bond. So I'm going to deny the motion to set it less. This can always be brought before the judge in Division 15 on motions to modify. Good luck. $2,500. Anthony Perkins. All right, Mr. Perkins is charged with petty theft with 2 or more prior convictions. This is pursuant to a warrant that was signed by Judge Johnson. I find probable cause based upon the warrant. I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500 as set by Judge Johnson. Special conditions are no contact with victims or witnesses and no return to the Walmart on Princeton Avenue. No alcohol and no drugs without prescription. And I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Perkins.
State is requesting that 25 CF 14728, currently in Division 14, be transferred to Division 12, where there is a lower case number pending.
All right, that'll be granted.
May I approach?
You may. All right, next we have Angel Pinheiro Melendez. Mr. Pinheiro Melendez is charged with battery with a prior conviction for felony battery. Currently comes before the court on no bond. This is on a warrant signed by Judge Duckworth. Looks like he also has a charge of grand theft, third-degree motor vehicle, and petty theft. Which comes to the court on a warrant signed by Judge Tennis. All right, this appears to be 2 separate warrants, 2 separate days. Let's do the easy one first, with warrant signed by Judge Tennis. I'm going to find probable cause based upon that warrant. She has already set bond in the amount of $2,500 on count 1. Third-degree felony grand theft motor vehicle and $1,000 on the petty theft. That's a total of $3,500. I'm going to stay the bond. Additional conditions on that case, and this is on the 2025 CF 13560. In addition to staying the bonds at $2,500 and $1,000, I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. No contact with victims or witnesses, no return to the scene, no alcohol, no drugs without prescription, no weapons, no firearms. Then as it relates to the battery with prior convictions, in 2025 CF 13260, that comes to the court with a no bond. State is Mr. Pinheiro Melendez entitled to a bond on that case?
Yes, Your Honor, he is. I would have the court take note that it has a domestic nature to it, as the victim is his ex-girlfriend.
All right, what level of felony is battery with prior felony battery convictions?
I believe it's an F2. One moment, Your Honor. It's an F3, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm gonna find probable cause based upon Judge Duckworth's warrant. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $3,500. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim. And maintain separate residences, return one time in the presence of law enforcement to collect personal effects. No alcohol, no drugs without prescription, no weapons, no firearms. And I'll appoint the public defender on that case as well.
The bond amount in that case, Judge?
3,500.
So- so
3,500.
Was the 3,500 on the 560 case or the 268? It was on both.
On the 268, 3,500. And then on the 3,560, it's 2,500 and 1,000. So it's also 3,500.
Okay.
3,500 on each.
State is requesting that 25 CF 13268, currently in Division 15, be transferred to Division 17, where there is a lower case number pending.
All right, that'll be granted.
May I approach?
You may. Thank you. Next, I have Traynard Portier.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Portier is charged with possession of more than 20 grams of cannabis, possession of oxycodone, resisting an officer without violence. He's also out on bond on possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, possession with intent to sell, manufacture, or deliver a controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, and he just got out on October 14th. He has various bonds in that amount. I'm going to go ahead and find probable cause on the new law violations. I'm going to stay the bonds at 2,500 on the possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, 2,500 on the possession of oxycodone, and 500 on the resisting arrest. That's $5,500 total bond. Conditions are no possession of drugs without prescription. Appoint the Office of Public Defender to represent Mr. Portier. I'm going to revoke conditions of release on 2025 CF 13408AO on all the charges and set bond at none.
State is requesting that 25 CF 14819, currently in Division 15, be transferred to Division 10, where there is a lower case number pending.
That will be granted.
May I approach?
You may. All right, next I've got Dominique Redding. All right, Mr. Redding's here on charge of aggravated battery causing a great bodily harm or disability. This is pursuant to a warrant. Signed by Judge Weiss. Madam Clerk, can I have the affidavit? State, do you have any thoughts on the amount of monetary bond and what level of felony this is?
Your Honor, this is a second-degree felony. The bond schedule will have it set at $7,500. However, the state is going to ask that you set the bond at least $10,000. First of all, it's going to be based on the allegation in that the defendant is accused of punching his daughter in the face and causing a 2-inch gash on her face right under her eye. There are also other convictions for violent offenses, and then there were also arrests for violent offenses. Based on that, state is going to ask for at least a $10,000 bond.
All right, bear with me just 1 minute. The clerk is printing the affidavit in support of the warrant for me. Mr. Redding has requested I appoint the Office of the Public Defender. He apparently does not qualify. So I'm going to deny that request. Mr. Redding's going to represent himself or hire his own private lawyer. Give me just a minute to look at the application and affidavit for arrest warrant reviewed by Judge Weiss when he issued the warrant.
That's my house.
Too much.
All right, having found probable cause based on the warrant and having reviewed the application and affidavit for an arrest warrant, I'm going to find probable cause for the second-degree felony of aggravated battery causing great bodily harm or disability. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $15,000. Require the defendant have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in this case, who appears to be his 18-year-old daughter. He's to maintain separate residences. He can return one time to his residence if that's where she resides to pick up personal effects in the presence of law enforcement. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And he does not qualify for the appointment of the public defender at this time. Anything else, State?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Madam Clerk? Anything? Nope. All right. Good luck. All right, DeCavia Scott. All right, Mr. Scott's charged with driving a license suspended or revoked with a third or greater violation as an habitual traffic offender. It's charged as a felony. I'm going to find probable cause based upon the charging affidavit and the citation. Apparently, he does not qualify for the appointment of the public defender. I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500. The only condition of release is do not get caught driving without a valid driver's license. Good luck, sir. Desmond Swilly.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Swilly's charged with selling controlled substance Schedule 2. This is pursuant to a warrant signed by Judge Johnson. I've also been provided with the affidavit for the arrest warrant. Pursuant to a search. All right, State, do you know what level of felony selling controlled substance Schedule 2 that Mr. Swilly is being charged with?
One moment, Your Honor.
All right. All right, I'm gonna find probable cause. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $7,500. Does Mr. Swilly want me to appoint the lawyer?
So, Judge.
Excuse me?
Do you want me to appoint a lawyer?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Swilly. Special conditions are possess no weapons or firearms and possess no drugs without prescription. 7,500 and appoint the Public Defender. Good luck, Mr. Swilly.
It's just 7,500 as to the new CF.
Yes. Jeffrey Townsend.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Townsend's charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, which is, I believe, a second-degree felony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bear with me while I re-review the charging affidavit. Oh, my.
Get an attorney assigned to your case, and then they'll look into it and come talk to you in the jail. Okay? Yeah. So they'll come to the jail and talk to you. If you don't want to.
All right, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $10,000 on this second-degree felony. No contact directly or indirectly with the victim in this case. Who was identified as John Torres Vega. Or the witness Javier Figueredo. So we can just say no contact with victims or witnesses. They don't appear to reside together. I know the father was initially detained but determined not to have been at fault. I don't know there's a reason to prevent him from having contact with his father unless the state feels that that would be appropriate.
No, Your Honor, no need for that. I think this happened at a warehouse, so state would ask for a no return.
All right, no return to the warehouse, which is located at 603 Hennis Road. No alcohol, no drugs without prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no contact with witnesses or victims, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Townsend. And I've set bond on the secondary felony at the amount of $10,000. All right. Ranfis Valasimmons.
Bondage, Your Honor.
Nice. Very good. That is all I have as far as paperwork. Are there any other live defendants out there that are waiting to be addressed?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
All right. Okay, so I've just got some orders to sign. Is there anything else before we are in recess state?
Nothing from the state.
Okay, 2024 CT 306. This is Maria Nolasco.